Hello everyone, welcome back to Sarah Short Stories. I am Sarah. I would like to thank you guys so much for coming back to this channel and coming to our second official video. The title of our short story for today is Scar, and the prompt for this story was that a couple was sitting at a night bar and the girlfriend finally gets the courage to ask her boyfriend about the scar on his chest, and he will tell the story of how he got it. I hope you enjoy, and if you really like this video, please leave a like, subscribe. Let's get into the story. It was just another night at the bar. The same old routine. She sat on his left, her delicate hands wrapped around the drink she had hardly touched. He sat on her right, nursing his beer and occasionally glancing around the room. The jukebox hummed in the background, drowning out the clanging of glasses and the occasional laughter. They were content to sit in silence, lost in their own thoughts. She broke the silence first. "I've always wondered about that scar on your chest," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. He looked down at his chest, remembering the day it had happened, and then back up at her. "It is not a pretty story," he warned her, taking another sip of his beer. "But if you really want to know," she leaned in closer, her green eyes fixed on his. "I do," she said. "I really do." He took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and said, "Well, it was a long time ago. I was just a kid, really." He paused, searching for the right words. "I used to live in this old, run-down neighborhood. It was rough, you know. Kids my age were already into drugs and gangs. But I was always different. I liked to read, to paint. My parents called me a dreamer." He smiled bitterly. "I guess they were right." He took another sip of his beer, staring at the bar's counter, as if it held the answer to some ancient riddle. "Anyway, one day I was walking home from the library. It was a nice day, just like today. The sun was shining, birds were singing. It was peaceful." He paused, his eyes distant, but that peace didn't last long. She leaned in closer, her expression a mixture of curiosity and concern. "What happened?" He took another deep breath, his hand absently tracing the outline of the scar on his chest through his shirt. "Well, as I was walking home, I saw a group of kids I went to school with. They were older and tougher than me. They were hanging out in front of the liquor store, just causing trouble like they always did." He paused, his voice growing distant. "I didn't think anything at first. I just walked past them, trying to ignore them. But one of them, a boy I had known since kindergarten, saw me. His name was Jack. He was the leader of the pack, and he had it out for me. He had always been jealous of my grades, my parents, everything. He pushed me, shoved me against the brick wall of the liquor store, his friends forming a circle around us. I don't want any trouble," I said, my voice shaking. "Just leave me alone." Jack laughed, and a cruel and mocking sound came out. "Oh, we're not here for trouble," he sneered. "We just want to teach you a lesson." He stepped back, and one of his lackeys produced a switchblade from nowhere. Before I could react, he pressed himself against my chest, the blade at my throat. Jack leaned in closer, his breath hot against my ear. "This is your lesson," he hissed. "You are not welcome here, and you will never be." I felt the cold steel against my skin, and my heart hammered in my chest. I knew I had to do something, but what? I couldn't just stand there and let them kill me. I couldn't leave my parents like that. "Wait!" I cried out, my voice breaking. "Please, just let me go." But Jack only laughed, a cruel and mocking one. Time seemed to slow down, as if the world around me had come to a standstill. I closed my eyes, feeling the cold steel against my chest, waiting for the inevitable pain that would follow. I tried to think of something, anything I could do to escape this fate, but my mind was blank. Just as I was about to give up, something snapped inside of me. I felt a surge of adrenaline, a primal instinct to survive. Without thinking, I lunged forward, pushing Jack aside and sending his lackeys scattering. The switchblade slipped from my chest, clattering to the ground. For a moment, there was silence. Everyone seemed to be in shock. Even Jack looked a little surprised. Then, without another word, I turned and ran. I could hear their footsteps pounding against the pavement behind me, but I didn't look back. "And the rest was history," I said, ending my story. She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. Her expression was a mixture of awe and horror. "I can't believe that happened to you. You must have been so scared." I shrugged, trying to play it off. "It's all in the past now. I'm just glad I made it out alive." She looked up at me for a moment, then leaned forward, taking my hands in hers. "I'm sorry you had to go through that," she said softly. "But you know what? You're here now, and you're safe, and you're not alone anymore." Her words brought tears to my eyes. It was true. I hadn't been alone since then. I've made new friends, found people who accept me for who I was. But the memories of that night still haunted me. The fear of being pushed against the wall, the feeling of the cold steel against my chest. It was part of me now. The scar I carried, a reminder of that. Okay, so that was the ending of the story. I hope everybody enjoy. Once again, if you liked the video, please remember to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.